Thirst Q take T, deadly Keons, EQUENCs. The patrol vessel Defiant cuts silently through the void, its sleek hull reflecting the distant starlight as it approached the mining outpost Helios 7. Captain Maya Rhodes stood on the bridge, her weathered face illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. 20 years in the Frontier Defense Force had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, every nerve in her body was screaming danger. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the unease crawling up her spine. Lieutenant Kaido Chen, her tactical officer, frowned at his console. "Still no response from the outpost, Captain. Communications remain dark. Life sign readings are scattered and weak. Thermal imaging shows multiple hull breaches," added Commander Elena Vasquez, Rhodes' second in command. "And there's an unidentified vessel docked at the main hub. Definitely not a human design." Rhodes' jaw tightened. The Helios system was at the edge of human expansion, one of dozens of resource-rich areas humanity had claimed in their rapid push into the stars. They'd encountered other sentient species, of course, mostly peaceful trading partners or indifferent neighbors. But this smelled like trouble. "Battle stations," Rhodes ordered. "Weapons hot, shields at maximum. Let's find out who our visitors are." The Defiant approached cautiously, its sensors probing the alien vessel. It was larger than the patrol ship, with an angular design that reminded Rhodes of a predatory insect, all sharp angles and threatening posture. "I'm getting movement," Chen reported. "The alien ship is powering engines. They're disengaging from the station." "Open communications," Rhodes commanded. Static filled the bridge speakers, followed by a harsh, clicking language. The universal translator struggled for a moment before rendering the message in stilted English. "Human vessel. This territory now belongs to the Skarn Collective. Leave or be destroyed." Rhodes' expression hardened. "This is Captain Maya Rhodes of the Earth Federation vessel Defiant. You have attacked a human outpost and harmed our people. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." The response was immediate, a barrage of energy weapons fire that rocked the Defiant. The bridge crew held tight to their stations as emergency alarms blared. "Shields holding at 87%, Chen reported calmly, his fingers dancing across his console. "Their weapons are powerful, but poorly calibrated." "Return fire," Rhodes ordered. "Target their engines and weapons systems. Let's show them what humans can do." The Defiant's response was devastating. Despite being smaller, the human vessel's weapons were precisely targeted, striking the alien ship's weak points with surgical precision. Rhodes watched the tactical display as her crew executed a perfect flanking maneuver, exploiting a blind spot in the alien vessel's sensor array. "They're not adapting," Vasquez noted with surprise. "Their shield configuration hasn't changed since our first salvo." Rhodes nodded. "They're used to intimidation, not resistance. Press the advantage." 3 more precision strikes later, the alien vessel's engines flickered and died. Its weapons fell silent. "They're disabled, Captain," Chen reported. "I'm detecting approximately 40 life signs aboard." "Boarding teams, prepare for hostile engagement," Rhodes commanded. "I want prisoners for questioning." The skirmish within the alien vessel was brief but intense. Human Marines, equipped with advanced battle armor and neural-linked combat systems, moved with coordinated efficiency against the aliens. Tall, chitinous beings with 4 arms and mandibles that clicked in anger or fear. Despite their physical advantages, the Skarn fighters were overwhelmed by human tactics and technology. Within an hour, Rhodes stood in the Defiant's detention center, facing the captured Skarn commander. The alien was nearly 7 feet tall, its exoskeleton a mottled green and black. 4 eyes blinked independently at her from a wedge-shaped head. "I am Captain Maya Rhodes," she stated, the translator converting her words. "You attacked our mining outpost without provocation. Explain yourself." The Skarn's mandibles clicked rapidly before the translator interpreted. "I am Sub-Commander Krastak of the Skarn Collective. We claim these resources by right of discovery." This system was charted by humans 3 years ago, Rhodes countered. The outpost is legally established under Earth Federation law. Krastak made a sound that might have been laughter. Your laws mean nothing. The collective takes what it needs. Your species is new to the stars. Weak, disorganized. You should have fled when warned. Rhodes leaned forward. 17 of my people are dead. Another dozen injured. Your ship is disabled, and you're my prisoner. Does that seem like weakness to you? The alien's mandibles twitched in what Rhodes interpreted as confusion. This was unexpected. Our intelligence suggested humans were technologically inferior, reluctant to engage in combat. Your intelligence was wrong, Rhodes stated flatly. Krastak studied her for a long moment. Perhaps, but it doesn't matter. The High Commander will not tolerate this resistance. He will come with the full fleet. Your outpost, your entire presence in this sector, will be erased. Rhodes remained impassive, but her mind was racing. Who is this High Commander? Vextor, the alien replied, a note of reverence in the translated voice. Conqueror of the Italian expanse, subjugator of the Mech-Terry worlds. When he learns of this incident, your species will understand true power. Back on the bridge, Rhodes called an emergency meeting with her command staff. The prisoners have confirmed it, she told them grimly. This was just a scouting party. Their main fleet is operating 2 systems over it, stripping resources from unoccupied planets. They've done this before, identifying isolated outposts, eliminating resistance, then moving in full force to claim territory. But they've never encountered humans before, Vasquez pointed out. Rhodes nodded. And they clearly underestimated us. But this High Commander Vextor won't make the same mistake twice. According to Krastak, their main fleet carries thousands of warriors and dozens of ships. We should call for reinforcements, Chen suggested. The 5th Fleet could be here in 3 days. By then it might be too late, Rhodes replied. No, we need to prepare now. We have one advantage. They don't understand humans yet. They think we're just another species to subjugate. She turned to the tactical display, where the damaged Skarn vessel hung in space. They don't realize that humanity has been fighting itself for thousands of years. We've perfected warfare against ourselves. Now we'll show them what that means. Rhodes sent urgent communications to nearby human settlements and vessels. Within hours, civilian mining ships began arriving, their crews volunteering despite the danger. Engineers from Helios 7 worked alongside the Defiance crew, modifying mining equipment into improvised weapons and defenses. It won't be enough, Vasquez said privately to Rhodes as they watched the preparations. Even with every ship and colonist in the sector, we're outgunned. Rhodes smiled grimly. We don't need to win, Alina. We just need to surprise them enough to survive until reinforcements arrive. 3 days later, sensors detected multiple hyperspace signatures approaching. The Skarn fleet had arrived, led by the massive dreadnought of High Commander Vextor himself. As the alien armada moved into position around Helios 7, a communication came through to the Defiant. Humans. The translator rendered a deep, resonant voice. I am High Commander Vextor of the Skarn Collective. Your resistance against our advance forces was unexpected, but it changes nothing. Surrender now, and some of your people may be permitted to live as servants of the Collective. Captain Rhodes straightened her uniform and faced the communication screen. The alien that appeared was larger than Krastak, with blood-red markings across his exoskeleton and golden cybernetic enhancements gleaming along his arms. High Commander, she replied calmly. This is Captain Maya Rhodes of Earth. Allow me to offer a counter-proposal. Leave this system immediately, or face extinction. Vextor's mandibles clicked rapidly in what the crew now recognized as amusement. Brave words from such a small species. Very well. Your defiance will make an excellent example to others who might resist the Collective. The screen went dark, and Rhodes turned to her crew. All ships, battle positions. Remember the plan. Let them think they're winning, until they're not. The aficionado stand. The battle began with overwhelming force as the Skarn fleet unleashed a barrage that lit up the darkness of space. Mining platforms around Helios 7 erupted in flame, and the smaller human vessels scattered like frightened fish. On his command ship, High Commander Vextor watched with satisfaction. These humans would fall like all the others before them. Their resistance against Krastak's scout ship had been surprising but ultimately meaningless. "Their formation is breaking," reported his tactical officer. "The smaller vessels are fleeing toward the asteroid belt." "Pursue and eliminate," Vextor ordered. No survivors. 6 Skarn battle cruisers broke formation to chase the fleeing human ships into the dense asteroid field. Vextor turned his attention to the Defiant and a handful of armed transport ships that remained in defensive positions around the mining outpost. "Target their command vessel," he ordered. "Show them the futility of resistance." The dreadnought's main cannons charge, energy building to levels that could vaporize the human patrol ship with a single hit. But before they could fire, alarm signals blared across the Skarn command deck. "High Commander." The tactical officer's voice rose in pitch. "The pursuit cruisers report they're under attack from inside the asteroid field." Vextor's upper eyes narrowed. "What forces?" Sensors showed nothing hiding there. "The asteroids themselves, Commander. They're moving." Inside the asteroid belt, Captain Rhodes watched from the bridge of a modified mining vessel as her plan unfolded. What the Skarn had mistaken for fleeing ships had been a carefully orchestrated retreat, drawing the enemy into a trap. Dozens of asteroids, fitted with salvaged mining thrusters and piloted by volunteer crews, now revealed themselves as improvised weapons. They slammed into Skarn vessels or detonated with explosive charges placed in their cores. Mining lasers designed to cut through rock, carved into alien hull plating. "They never expected us to weaponize the environment," Rhodes said to Chen, who had transferred to coordinate the asteroid belt offensive. "They thought we were running." Chen nodded grimly. "Skarn never retreat, according to our prisoners. They couldn't conceive that a tactical withdrawal might be part of our strategy." Back at the main battle, Vextor raged as reports came in of ships lost in the asteroid ambush. Impossible. How could primitive miners execute such a strategy? He redirected his attack toward the asteroid field, determined to crush this unexpected resistance. But this split focus was exactly what Rhodes had been counting on. "Now, Commander Vasquez," she ordered over the secure channel. Aboard the Defiant, Vasquez gave the signal. The remaining human vessels suddenly accelerated toward the Skarn dreadnought, executing maneuvers that seemed suicidal to the watching aliens. "They're attempting to ram us," a Skarn officer reported incredulously. "Adjust shields tow." The officer never finished. The human ships weren't on a ramming course. They were deploying a weapon the Skarn had never encountered: electromagnetic pulse generators, hastily constructed from mining equipment, detonated simultaneously, washing over the Skarn vessels in waves of invisible energy. Skarn technology, highly advanced but utterly dependent on their neural-linked control systems, failed catastrophically. Ships drifted, weapons offline, communication systems dead. The dreadnought itself, with its more robust shielding, suffered only partial failure, but it was enough to create critical vulnerabilities. "Boarding teams, execute," Rhodes commanded. Marines from the Defiant, accompanied by miners and engineers in repurposed excavation suits, reached the enemy vessels. The fighting was brutal and close quarters, conditions that favored the adaptable humans over the rigid Skarn warriors, who fought according to predefined battle doctrines that became useless in the chaos. On the dreadnought's command deck, Vextor fought personally, his enhanced limbs tearing through the first humans to breach the perimeter. But they kept coming, adjusting their tactics, working together in ways the individualistic Skarn never could. A mining charge detonated nearby, shredding his lower right arm. Energy weapons fire from multiple directions overwhelmed his personal shields. As he fell to his knees, Captain Rhodes herself approached, weapon raised. "Surrender, High Commander," she demanded. "Order your remaining forces to stand down." Vextor stared at her, mandibles twitching in pain and disbelief. "How? Your species is young, untested. Our intelligence said you avoid conflict, that you would flee rather than fight." Rhodes kept her weapon steady. "Whoever gave you that intelligence didn't understand humans. We don't look for fights, but we finish them. We've spent thousands of years perfecting warfare against ourselves. Imagine what that means for anyone foolish enough to threaten us." The High Commander's breathing labored as his internal fluids leaked from multiple wounds. "You improvised weapons from mining equipment. You turned asteroids into weapons. Your warriors, they fought without standard formations, adapting constantly." "That's humanity," Rhodes replied simply. "We adapt. We overcome. We survive." Vextor's mandibles clicked one final time as his systems began to shut down. "Tell your leaders. Tell them the Skarn Collective will not challenge humans again. We never stood a chance against you, humans." His four eyes dimmed, and the fearsome High Commander of the Skarn Collective died at the feet of a human captain. In the days that followed, the Fifth Fleet arrived to secure the sector. The surviving Skarn were detained, their ships impounded for study. Federation diplomats made contact with the Skarn Collective's Leadership Council, negotiating the release of prisoners in exchange for the return of captured warriors. 1 month after the battle, Captain Rhodes stood in the observation lounge of the newly rebuilt Helios 7 station, watching as civilian ships resumed their mining operations. Commander Vasquez joined her, offering a cup of coffee. "The diplomatic corps says the Skarn have withdrawn from 3 adjacent sectors," Vasquez reported. Apparently, Vextor's final message reached their leadership. "They're proposing a formal boundary treaty." Rhodes nodded, sipping her coffee. "Good. We didn't come to the stars looking for war. But we brought our ability to wage it," Vasquez observed. "The Skarn aren't the only ones who've noticed. Word is spreading about what happened here." Rhodes turned to look at the stars beyond the viewport, countless pinpricks of light in the vast darkness. "Let it spread. Maybe it will save lives in the long run. The galaxy should know. Humans don't want to fight." She set down her cup with quiet determination. "But if forced, we will never stand down." That's the message Vextor learned too late. Humanity isn't dangerous because we're conquerors. We're dangerous because we're survivors. Out in the black, the stars continued their silent vigil, witnesses to humanity's first decisive victory against an alien threat, and to the beginning of a reputation that would echo across the galaxy for centuries to come.